There's your name, Mrs. Funk. Did you try and call me now as we went live? I was like, yeah, luckily we're still live. I had a moment of panic there. Yes, Cade is locked in the kitchen. The rat muncher. Oh, today I was so upset at that dog. He found another rat. Now we're checking his gums the whole time. It's just like dead rats everywhere. It's like a plague of dead rats. Better than live rats, I guess. There's Charlie. Hey, Charlie. Charlie, you must test the new version of the game. All your complaints should be answered, but you must go through it brutally, you know? Like, tackle it again. Give it a fight. We're busy with the big actual tactical card game with more than 100 Bible characters. That's going to be fun. For those of you who like playing fighty card games where you're up against depressions and things and you can actually murder them ruthlessly. Unless you've got someone called Ruth in your life, then it's not ruthlessly, it's with Ruth. Because you're not ruthless, see? You're with Ruth. I refuse to apologize for my terrible jokes. I'm a dad and I have certain rights to make bad jokes. There's Kaylee. Hello, Kaylee. It's Kath. Yeah, hey, Kath there. There's Werner. Yo, what up? Who's that over there? Amer. Yes. Oh, it's Amy. Midnight Cat's Amy. Oh, it's a little bit on the chilly side tonight. Anyway, okay. So, good evening, everybody. Yo, I see the pond is filling up. Water is thundering. See the canal is it's nice and high. So make sure there's no spiders. She's a good girl. She doesn't eat dead rats. So we'll have a much less dramatic evening tonight. I don't know. Either there's some kind of rat poison going on, but Cade's gums are looking okay, so we don't think it's poison, or there's some kind of genetic disease killing all these rats. Or what's the cold? Not sure. Hashtag farm life. There's always some weird thing. I was staying on Kathy and Cole's farm just after a flood, which took out all the birds' nests. The birds control the spiders. So for like 2 seasons, the whole mountain was just full of golden orb spiders. It was just like that whole mountain, like millions of spiders. And then we decided we were going to shoot an independent movie in that mountain jungle. And I'm running behind the actors with a camera, and I'm just being hit by spiders. Bonk, bonk, nothing but golden orbs seem to like not mind being hit too much because their heads are harder than yours. You know, they have like a thick chitinous vibe. Chitin. So anyway, that was quite something. Yeah. Hey, there's Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Kales. Hello, Kayla. Gunther. Gunther. Guten Tag. All right. It's good to see everybody. Let's get this party started. It's quite an exciting topic tonight. I hope you guys and girls are having some revelations about the fact that, the pastor, apostle, prophet, teacher, evangelist, the fivefold ministry, that these are like full-time human beings. It's like a type. It's a full-on type of human. And the strengths come with insane weaknesses. So remember, we said the apostle is absolute. I do believe the term is a unit. The apostle can do everything. They're very focused, driven. They good at business, good at ministry, good at everything. And they're the core component around the apostle is they're the authorized ones, the sent ones. They get sent out. It's like ready to rock and roll. So someone who you can't really send yourself. Although I'm not saying God can't send you, but the apostle is typically authorized by established councils because, usually people are like, okay, that horse has got to run, because you can't hold on or control, or there's nothing you can do with an apostle. Apostle outgrows just about everybody around them very quickly, and even when they don't outgrow everybody around them, they are generally uncontrollable. You've got to just let them go and establish a base in some place where an evangelist has already tilled the soil, and when they get there, it's havoc. Usually apostles are surrounded by their own clan. They create clans around them, and off they go. An apostle's very, very focused and qualified, and has usually served most of the fivefold ministry already, and is quite brutal. Off they go. They're a very particular kind of person. And then you get the prophet, who's usually someone who's just got nothing in life that they want other than hearing the next instruction from God. And you've got to take care of them because they're generally big babies. So, you've just got to kind of worry about them all the time. So I kind of fit that mold in a lot of ways. I don't quite, I think it could be my office. I'm not entirely sure, but I know that if people don't take care of me, I won't take care of myself at all. Anybody who's known me long enough, all I care about is the instructions of God. Like, that's literally all I care about. And tonight we talk about the evangelist. And the evangelist is, when you say most misunderstood, I've got to try and word this nicely. It's the most understood because you're right in thinking that person is brutal and nasty and all those things, but you misunderstand if you think they got a problem with you. They got a problem with everybody. An evangelist, in the office of evangelist, is so passionate about winning souls that their assumption, their natural state of being, is that nothing is more important. So the average evangelist, I'm not talking about the mature one, is going to often think that the pastors and apostles and teachers and prophets are getting in their way, that all this admin nonsense and all the stuff in the background, so especially a young evangelist, and And so you often think that an evangelist is narcissistic, self-obsessed. You think this person doesn't want to listen to anybody. And you're often kind of right. But you're also, remember, not operating in interpretation and correct discernment of your judgment. So your judgment should be one of understanding, not one of condemnation. Because remember what we've learned about discernment, about this massive heavenly understanding that, like in the book of Micah, which will blow your mind, God actually is surrounded by a heavenly council, and that heavenly council is made up of everything, including tormenting spirits, lying spirits. I mean, there's biblical proof after biblical proof that God has got every terrible thing at his disposal to produce eternal heavenly beings, people who are worthy of spending eternity with him and around him and with each other, because they have experienced the entire balance, all of it, and have chosen righteousness. So, if you say, well, the devil's the father of lies, it means he's a lying spirit. And like, what? Did he just become that way? No, he was that way already. God created him like that, because you can't appreciate warmth unless you've experienced the cold. You can't appreciate abundance unless you've truly experienced lack. You can experience abundance, but you can't appreciate it. You can't be grateful for it if you don't know what the other side of things is like. So you tend to pass judgment on things like I did. I used to really get hurt, and to a point put myself in the position of victim, to a point where I had suicidal depression because I just didn't have discernment. Now, I won't say I got the gift of discernment, but I certainly am able to interpret things a lot better now, because if you study the Bible and you seek God and you really pursue him, you'll end up in a position of a lot more maturity, right? So when you run into the fivefold ministry, you're able to understand why that person is the way they are, because you can't separate somebody from their gifts, and God will often set some gifts on someone who walks in a particular office. So the office of the apostle, the office of the evangelist, the office of the pastor, that's something that is recognized by heaven and released on earth. And that person walks around in the authority of that office, equipped with the gifts which are there. So the gifts are there for the good of all, and the office of the fivefold ministry is there for the equipping of the saints. So how the heck does an evangelist equip the saints? Well, the evangelist, the core of who they are, their statement is, I believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation. So they believe that the gospel is the power of God, and they tend to believe that everybody requires salvation. So they run around with nets and fishing rods and whatever it is to catch as many fish as possible, because they're fishers of men to the extreme. They're trying to bring as many men and women into the kingdom of heaven, and they're like the hammer. The hammer sees everything as a nail. If you're a hammer, everything's a nail. And so they only see the saved and the unsaved. And without the evangelist, there would be no Western civilization. The world would be mostly Nazi and Islamified, and there's no difference between the two. What they have in common is they would wipe out all Jews first, and that would be the end of Western civilization. Judaism and the principles of Judaism were the core of the Judeo-Christian Western civilization, without which there would be no freedom on earth. Nothing. Our options would be communism, Islam, or the most powerful dictatorships, which definitely would have been Nazi Germany. So the whole world would have been kind of between those three, without the hard driving defense and conversion of the Western world, which has produced free market economies, capitalism with accountability. So a lot of people, they slip through the cracks with their evil because they pursue mammon, and mammon's always trying to figure out how to make more money, and that means they'll enslave and there's certainly evil involved. But where there is the power of God, there is always salvation. The gospel of Jesus Christ will produce salvation in capitalism, in greed, in these mammonic, mindless bouts of madness, because capitalism requires freedom to flourish. It requires freedom, and there's no Christianity. Nothing comes close. The Christian influence on global politics is the most undeniable agent of freedom. Without Christianity, there would still be slavery. There would still be the utter subjugation of women. Yes, Paul the Apostle, had some opinions on women in the church, but Christianity and Christian men paved the way for the freedom and recognition of the freedom of speech of women. It was Christian men who waged war to start movements to end slavery. It's in the world of Islam, every single one of you, especially the liberals, would be slaves to Islam, or you'd be murdered for not converting. And in communism, which is run by oligarchs and very, very evil men, that Elon Musk mentioned that Putin, he said, is far richer than he is by factors. He said Putin's able to just take what he wants. Because it's a socialist communist state, literally everything belongs to whoever's the highest in power. So he is able to kill at will, assassinate at will. So the Evangelist